Morning, folks. It's Saturday morning, and we are going to. This is wet the face pipe smoke. It did start out 4 ounces. I've had this one a moment, so you can see there's quite a bit missing out of this one here. I've got it whipped up here in a fine lathering bowl with a boar brush from Stirling. What the bottom there looks like. It's a solid color. Boar knot there. That's what it looks like whipped up there. The fine accoutrements lathering bowl. Now, I have to say, the past few days I've been using a boar brush, and the boar brush I've been working with is this one here is a Zenith boar brush. I haven't seen very many of these out and about, I guess you might say, in Shave of the Day postings, whatnot. And off camera, I've been working with this one here. And not only have I not been losing any bristles, in other words, no shedding, it seems to be coming into its own. It's working out rather well. I was kind of concerned about this when I first got it. Not sure, wasn't too sure, how much ever it's going to take to get this one here broke in, and it is really coming into its own. You might not be able to tell on the camera, but some of the ends are starting to split. It takes little to no time to lather up the soap. Just really how can you say, really kind of impressed with this particular knot. Uh, it's just, boar brushes, for me, just I like using them. They're very durable. They seem to be able to withstand a certain amount of abuse and keep right on going. This one here this morning didn't lose not one bristle out of it this morning. This one here does need a little bit more, I guess you might say, attention to it. I did whip this up. It's not exactly drippy by any means, but it is, I guess you might say, on the wet side, not quite drippy. We'll see how it works out, throughout the shave. Aftershave, decided to go ahead and go with English leather. Leather and pipe smoke I thought would play well together. Besides the fact I like English leather, to me it's a nice aftershave. Blade of choice today, yeah, I'm going ahead and went with the crystal again this morning. Got it in. This is a Parker 48R. It is considered a heavyweight. It weighs about 3.4 ounces. The length is about 3 3/4 inches, and it is a good looking razor. I'm kind of partial this particular razor. As you can kind of tell, there's really no overhang, just ever so slight right there. Kind of partial this particular razor because this is one of two that I bought when I very first started wet shaving or traditional shaving. Oh, I forgot to mention, I already put a hot towel to the face and Proraso pre-shave this morning. Got ahead of myself. Anyway, this particular razor, like I say, is one of two that I first bought when I very first started. This one here and another one from Classic Shaving with a little short stubby handle. This razor, like I say, it's very partial to me. I enjoy using it. It has, I would consider it, if it's medium on the aggression side, but be on the very upper end, if not the lower end, on the aggressive side of things. There is a certain amount of blade feel with this one. I consider it efficient. I don't have any problems with getting the blade to, how can you say, load up without having to fiddle with the blade adjustment, getting it to line up correctly. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact over time I have a tendency to load blades and three-piece razors a particular way all the time. Very consistent in how I do it. And I think that might help with any razors that maybe have older razors where they may have to fiddle with them a little bit. Like I say, I do it a particular way every time, and I don't seem to have quite that issue anymore, quite like I did when I first started and was, learning how to do this. Anyhow, this one here to me is just a fantastic razor. I do enjoy using it. It won't be for everybody though. If you're looking for a razor that's a bit milder, that's not aggressive, that has a certain amount of blade feel, you probably want to go with a Parker Twist to Open, especially if you're trying to stick to a budget. This one here, I think nowadays is going for about $32, which is still very budget friendly, but like I say, for some folks it might be a little bit too aggressive. For me, it works fantastic. I do enjoy using it. It is heavy. Let the weight of the razor, sharpness of the blade do the work for you. I feel like that I got lucky when I picked this one here. Reason why I say that is because I seem to learn very quick with this one here about not applying too much pressure. just guide it along the face and let it do its job. Some of the blades that I picked out when I first started would be like Shark Super Chrome, as well as Persona. Crystal blades, I like using them. They do fall in that line of Persona, the blades that for me that feel pretty nice. I do enjoy using them. They're relatively easy to find, not very expensive. I think you can get 100 of them for what, 12, 14 bucks, something like that. Not too terribly expensive. Some of the Personas, depending on what series you're looking for, excuse me, if you go to eBay, you can get the Persona X series. You can get 300 of them for shipped for right at like $28, $29. 300 blades, that's pretty inexpensive. It's, in other words, and for me, since I do enjoy using the blades, I have a tendency to use those quite a bit. It's hard to beat that price. It's not that you can't, you can. It's just, it's like, since I do like using them, I do have quite a few of those blades now. And if you're kind of wondering what the game plan is with the number of blades that I purchase, is that there's going to be a point in time that I'm not going to be buying anymore. In other words, I have stockpiled enough to last me the rest of my lifetime, and I will be done buying blades. And quite possibly razors and software. The only thing I see that I might be doing in the way of software would be on the aftershave. There's probably going to be an aftershave that comes out from time to time that I'll be interested in using. But software, I think I've come to conclusion which ones I do like, and regardless of scent, the base, in other words, works rather well for me. And that's just my take on things. And part of that thought process started a while back was my nose does not pick up the scent of the soap after I'm done most of the time. There is one that my nose does pick up afterwards, and that's Obsidian. My nose does pick that one up from Stirling. It does pick that one up. But after that, there's not a soap that my nose does pick up on a regular basis. So keeping that in mind, finding a soap base I like, using whatever aftershave I like. In other words, I guess you might say the mixing up of the scents, I won't have a problem with it. And I've got so much soap right now. I've probably got more than enough to last me the rest of my life. I mean, face it, when you got triple milled soap lasts a good long moment. And I've got more than 12 pucks of Arco. I got more than 12 pucks of Williams. That within itself is going to last me a good long moment. Not talking about Razor Rock's hard puck, so what the puck. So I've got some of that as well as in stick form. And when you start putting all those hard soap together along with some of the soft and the shaving cream and whatnot, I've got a lot of soap. More than enough to last me a good long moment. And I do enjoy using them though. And I know eventually as the from time to time, the boys will need some soap. So I'll go ahead and hand some of it out so they don't have to buy any. And some of them will be out of production, and there'll be that sort of thing going on. But I do enjoy this way of shaving. That's the reason why this particular razor, I guess you might say, is always going to be one of my favorites, staying around in the den for a good long moment. It is made in India, in case you're wondering. If you're unfamiliar with it, I have links down below if you want to take a look at some of this stuff. You can kind of tell I'm used to this particular kind of shaver. It's pretty darn efficient. By the time I just get done with a normal routine of shaving, there's only just a little bit left on my face. In other words, if I just vary my strokes just a little bit, I'd have a BBS shave without even having to put out much effort. For me, it's a pretty efficient shaver. For some other folks, it'll be too aggressive. That blade peel is going to be a bit much for some folks. So if you feel like you got sensitive skin or something like that, I wouldn't recommend this particular shaver for you. But there's just a tiny bit right through there. In other words, all I had to do is vary my stroke just a little bit, and I'd have a BBS shave without a problem. I enjoy using it. What can I say? A lot of fun. Quick, easy shave with minimal effort. I know when I first started, though, it was definitely a learning process. I got a little bit of stinging right there, which seems to be, how do you say, not uncommon for me to have some right here when you get close to the densely populated area. Get a little bit of stinging from there from time to time, but nothing to be alarmed or concerned about. But I know when I first started, it was a single pass. I was thinking like, I could almost live with a single pass, because back then when my shaving was, I had a full beard, so I used electric trimmer to trim up my beard, and I take the guard off and just knock off the big stuff on my cheeks and on my neck, and so it wasn't too terribly close. So a single pass with a shaver like this was like, that was pretty darn close. Anyway, I was, really impressed on how close it got. And then, of course, when I started doing the 3-pass shave, it was like, wow, that is really close. Wow, my face feels really soft, because it'd been, I've had a beard for like, I don't know, between 20, 30 years, something like that. My wife and I were trying to figure out, I haven't had a beard forever and a day. We were trying to figure out how long it had been. It had been a good long moment. So it was hard for us to remember, in other words, when was the last time I didn't have a beard. And anyway, we had a lot of fun talking about that. We still do from time to time. Every once in a while, you'll see a video or hear about where somebody has shaved their beard off for the first time, and their 2-year-old or whatever, their young one sees their father for the first time without a beard, and the reaction from it. And my family, even though my kids weren't that young, they were quite surprised. In other words, wanted the beard back, because that's all they remember me, is always having a beard. And when you're like 10, 12 years old and that's all you've ever seen me with is with a beard, that was quite a shock. Yeah, it was, that day was something else. If I'd been thinking about it back then, I probably would have had the video going, so that way a person could see the reaction of the family. My wife, when she, there we go, snug, pretty tight. My wife, it took her a moment. She was just, kind of looking at me. She couldn't quite put her finger on what was different about me. And, and then it dawned on her, and she, was all excited about it. You shaved. It was fun. It was a fun day. And it was a Saturday morning also. English leather. I do have this on the shelf at Walmart is not always available. It's kind of like British Sterlings. It's from time to time, I can find British Sterling on the shelf, and sometimes I can't. Same thing with English leather. So I do have a backup of this in the closet, but I don't know if that has anything to do with are they going to quit making it or what the deal is. But I do have a backup of this, and it is something I guess you might say it's not always to me is not always out in the public. Whether when they decide they're going to quit making an aftershave or whatever the case is, like Barbasol, uh, yeah, they just seem to quit making that stuff. It just quietly goes away, and nobody never knows what's going on. Anyway, I had a great shave this morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.